Resume. Okay. So every project, as we said earlier, it has a life, and projects are temporary because they will have a start, beginning, and then they will have a ending. So if you see general life of a project, what happens? It starts one day, then there is some planning happening, organization happening, and then work will be done, execution will happen, and project will end. Within this project life cycle, where there is a phase called carrying out the work. Okay, this carrying out of work phase. Okay, there is a lot of there is a this is called project development life cycle. Okay, so this is whole is a project life cycle, but when there is work being carried out, this phase itself is a project development life cycle, and this is what we are going to study, that where the work is done, the development life cycle can be predictive, it can be iterative, it can be incremental, it can be agile. Okay, so let us see. Project life cycle, general project life cycle is this. Okay, but when it comes to industry, so project life cycle changes. The typical software project life cycle, it has different phases, and those phases relates to the kind of work that is done in a software project. Similarly, if there will be a telecom project, the names of the phases will be similar to the kind of work involved in the telecom project. And if it is a construction project, then the name of the phases will be as per the construction work. Okay, so if you see a general project life cycle of a software project, then there will be initiation, requirement gathering, design, development, testing, and then deployment, or integration, testing, and deployment. If there is a project called in the construction industry, then the life cycle will be of if you see, analyze the market demand, there is a demand for this kind of construction project, if it's a hospital or it's a building, and then you do some planning, feasibility, then you design, engineer, build, construct, and commission, and then you hand over. So if in telecom industry, you can tell me better how your project flows from initiation till planning, then carrying out the work, and then there will be closing. But the phases name will be little different, like you can guide me. I think it's from requirement analysis or planning, it is same, but in the build phase you might have different name. How do you call it? Construct, right?
Maybe.
Implementation.
Implementation.
Yeah.
Correct. And then you have commissioning or testing,
Commissioning.
or verification,
Yeah. Integration.
and yeah, and then you have the delivery. RFS, correct. So
Yeah.
these are industry specific. General structure is that there will be some beginning, some planning, some work that will be done, and then there will be ending. But okay, now this one we talked about. I want to come quickly to phases that we have in the project. They can be done in a pretty sequential manner, or they can be done in a little bit overlap fashion. Okay, so we can do all the phases in a sequence. Okay, then the face-to-face relationship that will become is called sequential face-to-face relationship. Okay, so what we do, we collect the requirements, then we analyze the requirements, then we do the development part, design part, development part, then we integrate whatever is developed, and then we test, and then we deploy. So this is purely sequential fashion. We can do some overlap. Meanwhile, we are gathering the requirement, we can start preparing the design, and then we will call it a overlapping relationship. And then when we do development integration, then we in parallel starts the testing, and then we deploy. So it can be called as overlapping relationship. And the face-to-face relationship can be parallel. For example, if we did the requirement gathering, design, and then during development and testing, we at the same time started the testing. I mean, development and integration, we started the testing in parallel, and it continued till we deploy the solution. So these phases or in the project are unique to the kind of industry they are in. Their names are unique to the kind of industry they are in. The face-to-face relationship can be sequential, can be overlapping, and can be parallel. Okay, so this is important. And then, as I said, that during the project life cycle, there is a phase called implementation, where the work is being done. Okay, that phase itself is called as project development life cycle, and in that project development life cycle we have various styles, we have various ways to do the project development. We can go predictive way, we can go incremental way, we can go iterative way, and we can go hybrid or agile way. If you see simple project life cycle is given here, that there is a concept initiation, then there is the implementation or project development life cycle, the whole highlighted in green area, where you have requirement, design, implement, integrate, test, and deploy, and then there's a closure. So uh, this particular highlighted green area is where we are saying it has we have different approaches of project development life cycle. One approach we have seen, which is purely predictive, which is waterfall approach, that we do the requirement gathering for the full-fledged project as a phase, and we then we start designing the solution, and if and we prepare complete design of the solution, and then we start implementation. So phase by phase, and we are not starting the next phase till we are done with the previous phase. Purely sequential. Requirement will be closed in a one go, then design will be started. Design will be closed for the whole requirement, and then implementation will start. And implementation will done, full implementation will be done, then we will be integrating and then testing and then deploying. So that's a waterfall approach. We call it predictive approach, but we can do this approach for kind of projects where requirement is known, that we will pass through the project in one go, and then there will be a delivery in the end. And we do this type of projects for where the requirements are known, where we can predict that how much time it will take to deliver these kind of project, and there will be no change. For example, the whole requirements will be gathered, and then we'll not come back to requirement phase. We will do the design, and we will do the design as per the requirements, and then we'll never change the design. Design will be finalized, and then implementation will be done once coding is being done, or implementation is done, or building is raised. Then we do not expect any design change because we already finalized the design, and then integration and testing will be happening. So there is no flow back to the previous phase. For example, from the testing, you will not come back to implementation or design change or requirement gathering stage. So you are flowing to the next phase, and then gradually completing the whole product and giving to the customer in one time. Okay, if there is a change, then it will be very costly. And we talked about this, that the change, if there is a change, then at the requirement stage, we can handle the change. But after that, if the requirements are collected and design is prepared and implementation has started, then the change can be incorporated, but it will cost us huge because we have to do a lot of design change. Yeah. So we do not welcome change in these kind of life cycles. And also we can develop softwares by using this approach. We can raise buildings by using this approach. The only problem with this approach is there is no go back to the previous phase. Once we are done with one phase, we have to move forward. We do not have a loop back. We cannot go back to the requirement again because it's tough. Okay, but things do not happen like this. Okay, so we are we have to incorporate change. We have to be flexible. We have to be agile. Things do not happen in a predictive fashion always. Sometimes we cannot predict how much scope is there and how much time is there, time will be required, and how much cost will be required on the day one of the project, or in the first 10 days of the project, or because we do not know what we have to develop finally. So such projects, we take it in an incremental fashion. We say, okay, we are going to develop something incrementally, and we'll take some feedback from the customer gradually as we move along. And then if he's okay by our understanding of the project and our delivery, then we will move forward to the next increment. Okay, so incremental approach of delivery is that you take some requirements and then you try to build it. Okay, so you repeat the whole phase of design, code, test, integrate, and then you bring something ready for the customer to view and give you the feedback. So you develop one feature, maybe if you are developing, let's say, Microsoft Word application. So maybe you will develop one feature of the Word application, and then after that cycle, like what did you do? You collected the requirement, took one feature, and made the design, developed it, tested it, and now you brought to the customer to start to see it, whether they can use it, or did you understood it correctly. So you are showing to the customer. If they are okay, you will proceed and you will add another feature in the product. Okay, but if you are done with a feature, it doesn't mean that the whole MS project application is usable. You are not done yet. You cannot release this increment as a usable feature. Okay, you are building incrementally, but delivery will happen only after various iterations, once you are done with the whole application. Okay, so but you are going back to the customer at least more often. The problem with the previous approach was, if you took it for developing any software, so what would have happened, that you collected the requirement on in the first month of the project, thorough requirements were gathered, and then you said to the customer, okay, we'll come back to you. And then you went to design and you did 1 month of design, maybe another 2 months of development, and then testing. And then you came to the customer in the end after 6 months, and then you showed him something which you worked on. The problem would be that customer will see things very late, after 6 months, when everything is done. He will not get the opportunity to, give you the feedback to correct you. You didn't show him something that is being built. You just showed him everything once it is done. Now he has no choice. He can either say, no, this is not what I envisioned. You captured the requirement wrong. He can say that, because you are showing him something very late. He cannot give you the feedback now, right? He didn't like it. You guys are catching me, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Mohammed, correct? Okay. So, can you tell me what
Yes,
was
I'm
the
catching
problem?
with you.
Yeah, what was the problem?
We have to
approach?
contact. I think they have to contact in every stage to not make problem in the middle of the project or the end of the closing of the project. It's like giving the customer the project. You have to take it.
Correct. This approach, the waterfall approach, was that you met the customer in the requirement phase, and then you maybe sit with him for 1 month and you captured all the requirements, and then you said, okay, we will see you. Then you went to your team, you did the design. Customer was the discussion with the customer is closed, because we said that we'll not go back to the requirement phase again, right? We said that we are passing once through these stages and never will go back. But in the second approach, if you see, we said, okay, today we cannot collect 100% of the requirements, but let me talk with you and I understand what you are trying me to develop. And then I will take this some understanding and go back to my design team and development team and coding team and testing team, develop something and come back to you and to show you. This is what you wanted to say. What we met last 1 week ago or 2 weeks ago, this is what you wanted to say. You said, okay, yeah, I asked you to draw me a Mona Lisa. Yeah, you are going in the right direction, right? You showed him some eyes and some nose, right? And so he get an idea, yeah, you are in the right direction. Or he can tell you, no, do something. He can change the final shape of the product because you came back to him early on, correct? He cannot use it. He cannot hang this Mona Lisa picture till the nose, but he can at least review your work, right?
Yeah, he can review, give his opinion like that.
Correct. So yeah,
But
exactly.
do you think that discuss too much with the customer like may ruin the project?
Yes or no also. Why? Yes, for your or my kind of projects where we do, telecom projects and we construction projects or many specifics. If we discuss too much and we ask him, okay, are you sure what you told me yesterday? Did you change your mind? Kill me. You will tell him kill me because you are saying it took much time for you to close the requirements, and then you are opening the door of the requirements. That's your point, right?
What I'm saying, it's like you have imagination from your idea or from the project. Then you discuss with the customer, you have different vision. It's good at the start, but at the middle, if you don't understand him exactly, it's like will make disaster in the project.
Yeah,
I think here comes you as a project manager. Is it within the plan? Is it gonna cost him more? Is there any extra cost for changing the plan or after discussion? Is it part of the plan? Is it part of what we have agreed? So even if you are in the execution, he may ask you for something, but it's not part of the agreement. So here it comes you as a project manager.
yeah.
Am I right?
You are right, Mohammed, because what you are mentioning the scenario of a project where we gather the requirements from the customer as he wanted and we proceeded, right? And now in execution, he came to us with some suggestion or we went to him for suggestion. We can take it. If he came to us for a change, we can take it in a change management fashion, and we can tell him that it will require us to adjust our plans, and this is a change, okay? And we have to incorporate this change, and we have to change our baselines, our plans, because this is change in design, and change in design mean we have to add additional work to change the design and to actually then build as per the new design. So we have a new work items, new people need to work on it. So we will have to invest more money and time. Correct? This is what your point of view. Yeah. But imagine, I am talking about a purely different type of project where you and the customer, they don't know the end product. Okay. So it's a research and development kind of project. Okay, it's something, for example, this is a software that we need to develop. Okay, and we want to keep the room of requirements always open. Okay, but we do a session of requirement gathering with the client, and then what we do, we go and we develop some software for him. Okay, and then we come back after 2 weeks, let's say, and show him something uh, from the captured requirement, the software that is working, maybe one feature, something that we understood, and we are showing him. Okay, it cannot happen that this type of life cycle cannot be used for a construction project where we stop by every we take some requirement and develop and then come back and ask. No, that project we will plan in one phase, that there will be requirement phase, all construction related project requirements will be closed, and then design will be prepared, and one time the construction will happen. But softwares are different because if you capture the requirement 1 month ago, it is 1 month past. So market has changed. Today client has new ideas. Okay, he may want to add various other things in the software. So if you close the room of requirement for this type of project for the customer, you will deliver him something after 2-3 months, but that time when you will show him, he will say, market has changed. The competitor has much better software in the market than what I envisioned 5 months ago. Now I have more ideas. So in this type of project engagement, you have to take the requirements and then go back and develop and bring it, and then take more requirements or ask for the feedback in what you have delivered. If he want to change something, he can change, and then you move on. Are you getting different industry, right? Are you getting this?
Yeah.
Okay, correct. So in software industry, in this, we ask for the customer feedback quite often. This help us to improve the product that we are developing, and it will be always relevant to the for the customer, and it will have customer will be more happy and satisfied, because each time we are showing him and taking his feedback and adding more features which are relevant to the project. And in the end, if we are delivering something, it will be actually it will be not based on the client understanding, let's say 6 months ago. It will be based on the client understanding last week. Correct? Got
Yes.
Yes.
Correct. Got it. Yeah.
Now that was incremental, and there is another iterative life cycle. So if you see the picture difference in the Mona Lisa picture, now you will understand what is the difference between incremental and iterative. This picture of Mona Lisa, it was incremental. You are drawing a picture, but you are drawing it fully. For example, you are not you are coloring it, you are sketching it, coloring it, but feature by feature you are completing it. Though this painting cannot be placed on the wall after each iteration, but it is completely done. Okay, now second, the iterative life cycle is that in the first iteration you will just sketch it, you will not color it, but you will deliver it to the customer. If he likes, he can place it on the wall, but it's a complete usable feature after one iteration what you are delivering to him. So still it's incremental delivery, I mean, but it's iterative as well. How? Did you understand the picture difference? Now, if you see in the first iteration, first delivery, I am delivering a very vague picture of Mona Lisa. In the second delivery, I will go and paint it. I will add colors. Okay. I will add more details. Okay. And in the third iteration, I will further improve it. I ask for the feedback, but at each stage. But at each stage, I gave it to the customer that he can start using it. So
Yeah. It's like making the idea clearly, but not suddenly clear, slowly, so can understand more and more and be sure that this is the right idea. Yeah.
Yes, correct. So yeah, that's the only difference between the two, that here once you have an increment which is ready, that increment might not be usable. Okay, but in iterative, the increment that will be ready can be usable. Okay, so that's iterative. And then we have hybrid, and hybrid are both incremental and iterative. Okay, and one of them is Scrum Ban, and Agile also is hybrid. It's at the same time iterative, at the same time incremental. Okay, and also we have another approach, which is manufacturing approach. We use it mostly in the manufacturing sector, which is called as Kanban approach. And it's Kanban is to visualize the work in progress in a manufacturing unit. Okay, so there will be many items that need to be worked on, which are piled up. We call it a backlog. Okay, and there will be items which are being worked on. For example, you plan to do them. These are on your table. Okay, I took these tasks. Some tasks are still on my manager table, but some tasks are on my table. I have to complete them. And then if I started working on them, these are in progress, and some are already completed. So if we take a software development project and we have all the requirements that need to be worked on, and we put them in a backlog, and then Then each week we go back to the backlog and take some items that we need to deliver, and we bring them to the team, and team start working on them. And then they move from to-do list to from backlog to to-do list, and then from to-do list to in progress, and then from in progress to done. So this is how we can visualize the flow of the work items from to be done to in progress, then moving from in progress to completed. So Kanban board are helpful in visualizing the work in progress. Okay. So it is equally applicable in software projects also. We can deliver a software project using the Kanban methodology. It helps us to visualize the software project work in progress, passing through various process phases. Okay, we can name these phases as we want. That we can call it in progress. We can call it whatsoever the process subject names. We can have as many based on our process in place. Okay. So that is Kanban. Then we have a project. We are discussing project development life cycles, and I said that there is predictive, and there is iterative, there is incremental, and then there is hybrid. Hybrid mean we will be using iterative as well as incremental at the same time. Okay, that is called agile also, and the example of it is a Scrum ban. Okay, now Scrum is a agile framework, and Kanban we just discussed. It's about the methodology of the manufacturing but brought to the software development. But when we combine Scrum and Kanban, it becomes like a picture you see here. Don't go about the methodologies, just see you have a product vision in your mind. Okay, you have to develop something, and then you create list of features we call as a product backlog. Now these features need to be worked on, so you create these you create some stories about these features. Those we call user stories, or we call them work items. Okay, and then we place these work items with the team. We distribute to the team. Okay, that okay, these are the work items for you for this week or 2 weeks. Develop these and bring a working product to us. Okay, so we are having product vision. From that we develop the product backlog, and from the backlog we have a sprint backlog, and from sprint backlog we started working from design, develop, code, build, test, and then we brought to the customer a shippable product. Okay, so it's just visualizing how the work flows from idea to features, then features to stories, and then stories being worked on, and you see that things are being developed, and then you see a shippable product. Okay, in the end, we call these life cycles as adaptive and agile in nature. Okay, if it is complex as a moment, don't worry, agile is a big part of our course, and it's we will understand it gradually, that why agile, because agile is very important. There are many concepts related to agile which we will be gradually talking about. I'll show you our screen sharing just a